for me, Stanford was everything. It was everything since I was 14, because that's when I decided that I was going to be an Olympian. And I was going to wake up at 5, take 0 period, lift 5 days a week, join a swim team, all because I wanted to be an Olympian. I want to go to Stanford, because Stanford at that time was the best, right? Best school, and that's how, really inspired me to have my grades and everything, and take school seriously and just be responsible. And then I got here, I met my wife my first year, and met some of my best friends still to today, and having Vargas and Dante as 2 of my coaches. I mean, I look back and just so blessed with the number of coaches that I've had. Starting with my dad, Klaus Barth, then going to John Vargas, Dante, Racco Rudic, Terry, Robert, now to Dan.
I got Gorilla.
Then going to Europe and having some of those top coaches. Ivanovic is now the head coach of Australia.
I got Gorilla first.
Yeah, the head coach of Montenegro was my coach. So just really great perspectives on all these guys and their minds and their water polo minds. It's just been great. One of the reasons that I always have my coffee and espresso and a newspaper before games is so I try to think about something other than water polo. Because to be great, you can't just show up the morning of and start thinking of the game. My entire year is about thinking of the game, right? Every single thing from
Dad, look who's gonna fight with Gorilla.
Dreaming the night, I know who I'm playing against. I wake up in the morning, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm thinking of the guys that I'm playing against. And really, the mornings before a game, I'm so overly prepared that if I think about it more than I do, then I'm going to get nervous. I actually did, as a 17-year-old, I had my first coffee in Australia with the national team guys, a lot of bad influences back then. And everyone would sit around and have an espresso before the games. And I started doing the same thing. Except I would have an espresso and then I'd put Tiger Balm under my nose and get myself all pumped up, and then I'd go out there and I'd be a total psychopath. And so as other guys were getting themselves pumped up and screaming and yelling in there, I was still doing the espresso, and then I would start thinking about the game. Then I realized that would get me too nervous. And I don't know when the change was. I think it was in the Olympics. In 2000 Olympics, they would always have this Olympic newspaper, and you could read about all the sports. So I would have a coffee before the game, and I just read about all the sports. And I remember that really helped. Definitely the thing I'll miss most about playing with water polo at a high level, or playing the sport in general, is the teammates. We're lucky in our sport because every team that I went to overseas, every team that I played for here in the States, every new national team, I had immediately 15 best friends. Doesn't mean you're all best friends, but they're these guys that you live and die for each other, and you create this friendship, and you go on trips together, and it's really only you guys against the world, and that's the hardest part. Those are the moments that even these last 6 months, do I want to train? I didn't mind training. I definitely don't want to play. But it's those little moments when it's just you and your teammates on a trip, when you guys are taking them out to a new dinner, or you're exploring something together, or you're suffering together, and it's great. It's those moments.
What kind of comes to mind when you're driving back on this campus at Stanford?
Just the good memories, The tailgating out here, the games. We used to always have water polo and then football, and water polo would be packed. I mean, we played like BYU. Whoever we played at home, there was a crowd of 1,500 people minimum. There was never a game my junior and senior year where that thing wasn't packed. And you'd get everyone there, everyone would go to the tailgate, and then some would make it to the football games.
to stuff it in near side, and he does. Score the goal for Azevedo. And a point to the crowd. And the power play score is there for the captain.
Hey Tony, on behalf of USA Water Polo, we just want to thank you for inspiring so many people and for multiple generations of water polo players across the country that look up to you and inspiring future water polo here in America for all of us. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for all that you do. We appreciate you, and thank you.
Tony, thank you for all the great moments and memories and championships that you've had here at Stanford, as well as with Team USA. And on behalf of Stanford University, the athletic department, and men's water polo, I'd like to present you with a token of our appreciation. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Coach Vargas. Believed in me when I was a 16-year-old, and I went to my first Olympics with you, and we won a championship here at Stanford, and I met my wife here at Stanford, had some great memories. Dante, we won our first championship here. Meant the world that I could end my career here. I thought I'd feel a little better after a 6-month taper, but I guess I needed a couple more months. Coach Adovicic, thank you for being the brainchild behind all this and making this happen. USA Water Polo, thank you. Dad, you are who I am. Thank you so much. Croatia, one of my favorite countries in the entire world. My son, Jivo, was born there. All I say is 22 years ago, I was inspired, just like a lot of you young kids, by a game and by an athlete. And I hope for those of you that were here at the clinic today, or those of you watching, when I was inspired, it took 4 years of hard work that no one imagined I could do, and I did it, and became an Olympian 4 years later. There's nothing better for me than ending with these guys, because my life has been about these boys here. I've literally bled, sweat, and cried with Team USA, and that's going to be what I'm going to miss most. These guys, because they are the ones that made me who I am today, and being one of 13 people chosen every 4 years to represent your country, there is no better feeling than that. And don't forget that. I love you guys. Thank you everyone for coming. Let's go. Go USA.